Trades in the NBA are one of the most exciting parts of being an NBA fan. You could see a rebuilding team ship off their veterans to a contender in exchange for draft picks and young players. You could also see a contender add that extra piece to help bolster their core, or you could see two teams swap different players that fit their teams better. With trades, there are endless possibilities. I'm here today to tell you 5 NBA teams in most need of making a trade this season, along with 2 bonus teams, so stick around until the end of the video to hear those. The first team I'll be going over is, in my opinion, in desperate need of a rebuild, and this team is the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls had a solid first half to last season going into the All-Star break as the 1 seed in the East. Everything went downhill from there. Lonzo Ball got injured and still hasn't seen the court since. He's not going to magically fix all their problems when he's back. The biggest issue with this team is the fact their supposed 3 best players, DeRozan, lavine, and Vucevic, are net negative when they're all on the floor together. These 3 players are very offense-oriented. The Bulls got crushed in the first round of the playoffs last season and may not even make the play-in tournament at their current pace this season. I really think they need to blow it up, which may sound extreme, but let me explain. I think the only player out of their big 3 they should consider keeping is lavine, and even that is a maybe. DeMar's value could be near its peak right now, and with him only getting older and the Bulls going nowhere, it makes sense to trade him as soon as possible. They should look to another contender and needed some more offensive creation and should look to get back a nice haul for DeRozan. For Vucevic, I don't think his value is very high right now, but I do think they should look to trade him if they can get any value for him. If not, they should let him walk in free agency unless they brought him back for very cheap. For lavine, I'm not sure how many teams would be willing to take on the rest of his contract given his injury risk, which is why I don't see it as super necessary to trade him, along with the fact that he is somewhat young enough to stick around a little longer unless he wants to be moved to a contender. I think the Bulls should look to stock up on some draft picks and give guys like Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, and Dalen Terry more time and control over this team to see if they have any legitimate pieces for the future. The next team I believe should make trades this season is the Phoenix Suns. The Suns came just 2 games short of winning the NBA Finals in 2021. They finished last season with the best record in the NBA, but got bounced in the second round. It is clear this season that they are still a piece or 2 away from getting back to that championship contender status. Who knows how much longer Chris Paul has left and how much longer DeAndre Ayton can stand being on this team. I'm only half kidding. With Jay Crowder already stating his desire to be traded, the Suns could look for someone such as John Collins or Kyle Kuzma to start at their 4 position. This could help out with their rebounding problems. I think they could also use another 2-way wing or someone who can play shooting guard or small forward and can put the ball in the basket to help take some of the offensive weight off of Booker. Potential target could be someone like Malik Beasley from the Jazz or Eric Gordon from the Rockets. These 2 moves would help make the Suns a more complete team and should push them back in a championship contender status. The third team I believe should make a trade this season is the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are in a tough spot right now. They have some great pieces for a contending team, but don't quite have the ceiling as some of the best teams. They are very limited in their half-court offense and lack good shooting. They could also use some better interior defenders. This is a time where the Raptors have to consider everything and decide to either go all in if possible or start a retool. I think the only player on the roster they wouldn't trade is Scottie Barnes. Trade candidates that are often brought up in NBA media are Miles Turner and Jakob Poeltl. These 2 centers could tremendously help out the Raptors, even though it's looking more like these centers will stay with their teams. It's possible someone like Gary Trent Jr. and possible draft compensation would be enough to will Poeltl away from the Spurs, as he would provide the rim protection they need. If they do decide to blow it up, I think they should consider trading everyone, especially Siakam, since his value may never be higher and he is a bit older than some of the core pieces of this roster. They could get a huge haul back for him, most likely including multiple first-round picks and young players. There are many teams that should look to acquire Siakam if the Raptors make him available. It would be interesting to see the Heat or Suns go after him. Comment below a team you think should trade for Siakam and what they should offer. Moving on to our next team, I have the Washington Wizards. Similar to the Bulls, I believe the Wizards should do a total rebuild. Their core pieces are not going to be enough to bring them anywhere. Their top trade asset currently is Kyle Kuzma. There are several teams already inquiring about him, including the Suns, as I mentioned before. The Wizards definitely have leverage in this situation and should look to create some sort of bidding war for Kuzma. As for Bradley Beal, if there is a team willing to take on his massive contract that goes well into his 30s, possibly a team like the Heat, they should look to ship him off as long as they can get at least a little bit of value in return. As for Porzingis, they could stick with him, or if there is a team interested, could trade him if the price is right. Porzingis has a player option for next season for $36 million, which may be hard to decline. But because Porzingis has been playing well this season, he may look to get another long-term contract from another team. The Wizards should look into all their options and really consider stocking up on draft picks and promising young players, especially in a draft class like this. The 5th team I think should make a trade this season is the Atlanta Hawks. We knew it would most likely take a little bit of time for the Hawks to figure out their new backcourt, but Trae Young has showed that he struggles away from the ball. Atlanta is also in desperate need of shooting, as they have become one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in basketball this season, especially after shipping off Kevin Huerter and being without Bogdanovic for a good portion of the season. They could look to acquire more shooting by trading John Collins. Possibly a team like the Nets may be interested and could give them Joe Harris or Seth Curry in return. They could also look to the Jazz for Malik Beasley or the Rockets for Eric Gordon, or the Suns for Jay Crowder. I do think it is time they finally trade John Collins and hope for at least some value in return that can fill a team need. The two bonus teams I wanted to briefly mention were the Warriors and Magic. I think the Warriors should really consider trading James Wiseman. Even if they still see him as a part of their future, they should go all in while Steph Curry is on this team. They could look to ship him to Washington in a potential deal for Kuzma, or possibly the Raptors for Gary Trent, or again the Spurs for Jakob Poeltl. This could help the Warriors remain as one of the top teams in the league. For the Orlando Magic, they definitely have some expendable pieces including Mo Bamba, Karl-Anthony, Terrence Ross, and Gary Harris. This could help them acquire some more young players and draft capital as they look to figure out what their future is. They definitely have a few promising pieces in Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter, and even Bolwell this season, and they should look to bolster this core at the trade deadline. If there's any other teams you think should make trades this season, comment them down below and don't forget to like and subscribe.